All right, welcome back, everybody. We got another video today. Of course, it's going to be a meta talk, and I have three guests with me today. I tried to pick somebody from a couple of different regions and some very active players, some names that you probably recognize if you are any bit active on the retro here. But of course, let's go through the list here. Start off. Go ahead, Az. Say hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Azarith Strife out in East Coast, Best Coast, out in Pittsburgh. I haven't played that much recently, but I am always watching games. So last time I played, I think was I don't know, when was that Kenosha event that you sacked me in, Frank?
Oh God, that was like, I think that was in like April or May, or no, June. I don't know. One of those.
That was set 11, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was a good while ago.
Oh no,
So.
I played in the OLT right after set 12 dropped with my triple victory Saiyan Brawley.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'm known for. I'm known for playing Saiyan.
Well, you played a little bit since then. You played in the Ghoul event the other day.
I did not play in the Ghoul. I judged the Ghoul.
I thought you played. Oh, that's right. You judged. So, but you've at least you got to see some of the more recent stuff people chose to to play. So, go ahead, Dan.
My name is Daniel Behee. I want to apologize for not having a camera, but yeah, I hang out on Octagon every day after the girls go to sleep because that's my sweet life, people. It's we're living the dream out here in Texas, and I typically play decks that hang back and try and control the game state at a slower pace, and that those decks aren't really gonna hang out too much longer as the meta has picked up and all the OTK decks abound, and now we've got anger decks that are going nuts. But I just have a very huge passion for playing. It's such a fun game, and it's gone such a fun direction with so many viable MP mastery combinations out now that there's really just an open meta. So I just kind of have fun exploring that on Octagon every day. So, but yeah, the only real success I've had in the game was with Amplified 20, I would say, in South Kai of, what was that, last season?
That would have been last season. I think it was.
I think so.
That's the red departing shot deck?
Departing shot was one and Cannon was the other, and it was a lot of fun, and it basically has been unable to get back on the level that it was at with tactical drill being gone. I mean, of course, attitude drill is a wonderful sort of pseudo replacement, but it just doesn't at all carry the weight that the tactical drill did. I mean, what red really needs, and I know this is a different conversation, and I don't want to trail off, but man, would I love a way to just get more out of the drills or the effects that check your anger level. Anyways, moving on.
We'll talk. We can definitely talk. We'll talk about red once we really get into the meat of the discussion here. But go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff Sosa. It always feels a little weird saying this, but current Tournament of Power champion.
Woo!
Big celeb.
Reigning champ.
With a degenerate deck.
Oh, come on!
More power to him. A good meta call.
Somebody that was playing Ferrari Trunks when it first came out.
You know.
And I'm just now realizing that this is the Jeff Sosa, so that's how slow I was to recognize your voice there. I was you're the one that knocked me out of Tournament of Power, so I love getting to hang out with you for a little while.
No, that was the right call. It is a degenerate deck, even if you like it.
Yeah. Otherwise, just live here in Utah, and our play group plays every Thursday in person.
Wow. All right, I'm jealous.
You get to touch each other? What the heck?
You get to
not
real
just that.
cards?
You get to touch real cards, and even those sweet new promo cards.
Oh yeah.
Now, I do have at least 25 physical decks built. I'm just going to say that I have an addiction myself there.
All right.
I'm sorry, Frank. I'm sorry.
Oh,
if we're also doing addictions, I have an addiction to foils, and I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I spend way too much money on this discontinued card game just because I need shiny
Yeah.
cards.
Oh,
But-
I buy 2 foil play sets each round. I'm telling you, I love the awesome sauce
Oh,
proxies.
yeah.
That's a good
We are
shit.
so happy to have that.
But Jeff has a lot of slinging experience, and he plays he's dealt with a fair amount of decks from my
Yeah.
memory at least. So
I try to keep 3 decks of each style going at all times.
Wow.
Just
I don't have that kind of time.
yeah, so like in my card game case every Thursday, like we're pretty much like sometimes we'll stick with one deck, but really it's this just kind of rotating game of like, okay, it's off season, let's just experiment all the stuff that we don't want to, and then during tournament season we'll pick like our top 5 that we felt were ready, and then just kind of go from there.
Yeah,
most of
I
the
bet
time.
I would be able to do that if I had a local group to actually play in person too. That has to help a lot.
Yep, it really does.
oh man,
How
Well-
about you, Frank? What have you done recently?
yeah, me. So my off season was
Beating up on Didier on Drinksy.
yeah, I know, right? My off season was more of like the summer, was like the latter summer, early fall was kind of my off season, between events, and then just work is the busiest for me then. And then I started really getting back on the grind again, kind of starting in the winter, and December really kicked up for me. I've been playing a fair amount recently still. As far as competitive, I mean, I don't really consider Octagon. The Octagon meta is a really weird
It's so
mix.
weird.
It depends on who you play with, really.
Yeah.
Like the people I regularly play with are usually trying to experiment a bit, and every once in a while they'll whip out a really serious deck. I think what's good about Octagon, the Octagon meta, is there are a lot of people running some really interesting like tier 2 or like really like not like obviously good decks.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of crap on there too. It just kind of depends. But
Yeah.
overall, you get like a really good feel for what people are about and what they're liking, which is really nice, I guess. And I do keep up pretty good on the events. But as far as events go, yeah, I mean, the last event I would have played in, I just play regularly on Octagon at this
I
point.
mean, Frank is going to
So-
be the next North Kai champion with Knowledge Dende.
Oh god, dude, I can't make North Kai, unfortunately.
No,
yeah,
neither
it's-
can I. Sorry, it's the weekend of Origins. I can't go either.
it's like the one weekend of the year that I can't get off of work indefinitely. It's like there's 2 weekends of the year that like I need for family stuff or work, and North Kai is the work, and then the Colorado one is the family stuff. So
That was literally me too. It's like the first week got posted. I'm like, perfect. Josh was like, it has to move. I'm like, there's one weekend that it can't be.
yep, and it was. And, and I'm really tight with Josh, Allen, or Gregory.
Yeah.
So
Josh,
he's always posting all the North Kai stuff, and in our chat, I'm just like, I fucking want to
Yep.
cry so much every time I see.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I got this like another promo, and it's like, but
Are you gonna make it out to East Kai though?
yeah, East Kai confirmed.
Hell
It's
yeah.
just a matter of me buying the plane or reserving or buying the plane ticket right now. I'm just debating if I'm gonna try to stay.
You're gonna be a good turnout at East Kai.
Yeah, East Kai's gonna be really competitive for sure. So anyway,
mean,
get through
speaking
all
of
that.
that-
We
yeah.
get through all that stuff. We're gonna really get into more of the meat of the discussion now. So first off, we're gonna start with the end of the set 12 meta. A lot of people were really polarized on the movie collection 2 meta. Some people really didn't like that it was like super unleashed, and like there was like the huge kickback about Orange Palm Charge, I think, was the biggest thing, and then there was
I
like
remember when that card got fucking previewed.
it was like that and Majin Vegeta, and then
Yeah.
sometimes you'd see like combative control, and that was like it felt like it was the meta. What do you?
Did Majin Vegeta see a lot of play in set 12? I feel like I didn't see a lot of it.
It was abounding everywhere
Was it?
in my it was in my dreams. It was banishing my discard pile and shutting off my board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prideful Challenge is reigning supreme still in my card library of just wanting. I would just like to see that card go away. But Mischievous Supreme Kai also extremely huge in that meta.
I was gonna
That's
say
true.
most
Supreme
likely
Kai
like
too.
ally decks too, like Gohan decks.
Yeah.
Like the blue Gohan decks. Protective Gohan is actually the one that I was
Protective,
like, yeah, that one I
definitely.
know.
Yeah,
Definitely, but
orange adapt decks just kind of unleashing up and abusing that palm charge
Yeah.
for free
Card's
energies.
really good.
Oh my god, yeah, everyone turned into Android 18 and Yasha with that. I mean, they were still the best though, I think.
Because they got the stack on top of it.
Well, the stack, and then I was gonna say they also got that double user, the orange.
For the Earthling trait,
Yeah,
or something
it's
like that. Yeah.
and they still had, and they both always had energy toss too, which I thought was super silly. But
So
Yeah,
much
for
stage
sure.
gain that didn't cost you anything, plus anger lowering on a double
Yeah.
attack.
So-
That's
I
gonna
did-
happen.
I honestly did not
Five
play
life.
much in set 12. Like
Yeah.
I played in the OLT when set 12 first came out. I don't think I played more than like 2 or 3 games after that. And I'm like, I do not enjoy this format.
yeah, I'm gonna directly pick Jeff's brain on this one. But since Jeff was of course, he's the world champion at the moment. Though it's the tournament power champion. But so Jeff, of course, was playing a ton in the last set. He's been playing a ton recently. What did you think was the biggest change from the set 12 to 13 meta, at least the beginning of the 13 meta in your eyes?
12 to 13, like you mentioned, I played so much of set 12, a ridiculous, bonkers amount, because that was when all the West Coast events would happen. Like I remember us hosting Grand Kai in Utah last year. That was the beginning of set 12. You saw those beginning patterns of what everything we just talked about, and then it just continued all the way on for every West Coast event. So tons of Android 18, tons of Supreme Kai. Majin Vegeta kind of started to go down, but he'd pop up every once in a while, and you'd be like, oh no. But a lot of people were trying to figure out how to make new Broly stack work.
Yep, Trevor Cox.
Yeah. And I remember Trevor Cox actually stayed at my apartment here for that event, and we tested a ton of Broly, just a ton. And we found that, like, although the stack has a lot of potential, it essentially lacks what a lot of the set 13 MPs have right now. And that kind of the transition into this is you had great powers, but the overall just power level wasn't enough to push through a lot of barriers. And so then set 13 comes along, and set 13 has MPs, like all the MPs having a level 1 that starts with a bracket of F.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just overall ridiculous when you really think about it and what was kind of going on, and just that added on with almost all of them having some kind of anger on every level at the beginning when set 13 was previewed.
I'm making a correction for my boy. Gotenks is not an F on level 1.
Oh, that's true.
Well, yeah,
Go figure, the Fusion MP is not an F on level 1.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So neither is
That is
Yajirobe
fair.
to be. No, I'm just goofing,
That,
but
and I don't really count him.
Yajirobe doesn't exist. He doesn't
After-
exist.
Oh, he was so sad.
He was
Retro
so-
blew up about Yajirobe being this thing, and even I'll admit the Utah group got a little bit of leak about the generic parenthetical power, and so we tested Yajirobe with like no powers, no nothing, just
Literally
he
just all
can
the
use
sword
sword
cards.
stuff. All the sword cards. We assumed his bracket was A at all times. And we ran it through the gauntlet of our tournament decks, and we're like, okay, Yajirobe's cool. He can do some cool stuff.
He
with,
wasn't
like,
ever
all
good,
the
though.
sword drills and things, but he'd be death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
And then he came out. They previewed him. We saw the powers. We're like, okay, this is a good way to go to get the deck to work with all these ridiculously super powered MPs. Like, there's some cool stuff in Orange you could do to just kind of live for forever as Yajirobe. And then they nerfed the interaction of the drills, and that severely limits Yajirobe's ability to
He's
generate
basically
actions.
unplayable now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's unplayable.
It's sad. So in one hand, I don't really count Yajirobe after he was.
I'll be honest, until Frank mentioned him, I forgot he came out this set.
There you go.
So going into set 13, power level just becomes super ridiculously high, and then you have a lot of the MP beginning levels that have anger built in. Again, you have 2 anger on Gotenks level 1, and then Gotenks level 2 can even potentially be 2 anger. You have Super Boo, which has that kind of pseudo anger on copy things, and then his level 2 still has a base 2 anger, regardless of which version of Boo you use. Vegito, when he was first revealed, and even for Tournament of Power, had ridiculous amounts of anger everywhere.
Yeah.
And then Knowledge Gohan, again, or Gohan in general, like
At least 2 anger on that level
like
1.
yeah, at least 2, if not 3. And then you get to 2, and it's like, okay, guaranteed 2 anger, so everything's on par so far.
Didn't he?
And then you get
Oh, sorry to cut it off. Wasn't his instant originally a constant on level 1, or
Who's
I
Gohan, or was it still? Was it always an instant on
it
the
was
one?
always an instant.
it was always an instant, so it was kind of always
Mm,
kept itself on the lower end.
okay.
It
And
could
then
be
the
potentially 4 anger and knowledge.
yeah,
Right.
That's silly. That's silly. I mean, it's
duplicating
knee
that
block.
knee block.
Right.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you definitely saw a lot of that built into the MPs, which I think for set 13 really pushed a lot of the initial uh, decks out of Unleashed. Like you could now viably, or not viably, I should say, but you were more tempted not to run Unleash with some of these new MPs because it's like raw anger on it. Combine that with any mastery combination that gets you anger, which is another thing about set 13. All of those masteries, we got our pseudo replacement for Retribution that's 2 anger, even though it's in 2 increments now. And just a real hard push on those cards for that style of meta, which on one hand I've been
Mic
thankful for
off.
because now I can not run Unleash in 15 different decks and feel like that's what I have to do. But on the other hand, like that power level difference for particularly Gohan, Vegito, and Boo has always been there. His bracketing actually, Fat Boo, I
Mic
believe,
on.
Zach Johnson has this spreadsheet going where he has this labeling of all the different brackets of the MPs, and I think Fat Boo beats Evil Boo, I think in like 2 areas on level 3 and 4. Like even though Evil Boo's numbers are higher, his bracket retention actually isn't as strong.
Yeah.
He scales down harder.
So that was
Yeah,
one thing. Yeah, Fat Boo's power levels. That was one thing that we talked about. Like Kelly Dennis was huge into Black Boo, and talking about his AT being so good. It was like, yeah, but the problem with Fat Boo is like, unless you get stage game, like his AT, like his
It's the
AT.
Brawley problem.
Well, it's like the Broly problem. Not as bad as Broly and like Deborah have it really bad, but these new MPs, like you're saying, the power level retention is the problem with them is
Yeah.
that they are starting off level 1 with like 1, 2, 3 brackets in F, and then they maintain it so well.
Yep.
Versus like Broly hits C at like 5 above and 6
That's
above.
the one that I was just recently thinking of. Gohan level 3 is at 500,000, 5 stages above. That was old Goku level 4.
Yeah.
yeah. And so I think that power level push, the anger push, all of that kind of puts MPs in a new bracket. And I would be really interested to see like if this is the anomaly we get, just some really strong ones and then unique mechanics from here on until the end of Z with the next few sets,
Or is this
or
the
if
norm?
this will be the new norm for some of those MPs.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like we're due for a new Goku stack. We're due for a new Vegeta stack, some of those base ones to mix and match. So I feel like if those are brought up to this semi norm, still kind of under Boo, but around
Mm-hmm.
Go Tanks level, I think we'll see a lot less complaints about some of these other MPs. But even with these power boosts and things, a lot of viable decks. Granted, I think Vegito, in my opinion, is still kind of the top dog, even with its most recent nerfs.
It's different now,
But
for sure.
it's different. It's definitely taking away a win condition from an MP is not something I enjoy. I would have rather seen some other kind of nerf to Vegito, but
But at least now you can actually build your deck to attack Vegito, where you're
yeah,
not worried about both fronts.
yeah. So you can really just focus on drill tech
Stop the
or
Unleashed.
whatever may be there. Stop the unleashed versus like I just have everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's Gohan now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I'm really agreeing. It's going to be interesting. I think with the power level issue, as far as like canonically speaking, Super Boo and Gohan would be the strongest two people. Um, so that's going to be nice to see that. Like ideally, the bracket problem can't get really. I don't think it can get exacerbated anymore. I think we've hit kind of its peak until we hit like a Dragon Ball Super kind of set. But the bracket problem is definitely something I think that's huge. I don't really know what the issue for it, how to fix that would be, other than to just rebalance the levels. But at this
It
point,
honestly, it almost seems like the numbers are just becoming arbitrary. Like they're just throwing numbers on there. Like, and it seems like, well, because like
yeah, but
it
it's
just
the
seems like the numbers are getting astronomically high for no reason. That was the whole reason that we had the capped AT bracket.
yeah.
Because now you have cards, especially in Saiyan, that rely on higher power levels. Now there's certain MPs that can never accomplish this.
Yeah.
Even new
Saiyan
MPs,
domination.
like Gotenks versus Gohan can never accomplish higher power levels.
Yeah. Dan, you were gonna say?
Oh, I was just saying Saiyan Discovery. You know, it's our good old attach card we get with outrage, you know.
Yeah,
But you have to be hired.
You have to be hired to get it.
Outrage.
Yeah. That's so
Right?
good.
Yeah. Well,
Saiyan
that's
stage
a
loss,
stage
baby.
deck.
Saiyan stage loss don't care about
There
AT.
you go.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, I would be surprised if in future sets the power level isn't brought back down to what we see as normal. I think that the fusion personalities just have outrageously high power levels because they're fusion personalities.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is a good point that you raised, though.
I very much agree with Jeff's. I think I think the power level issue was definitely one of. I think that's definitely been a big one, and I think too. I don't think any of those MPs that we were just talked about, like the Yamcha, the 18. We'll just use those two as an example, and Supreme Kai even. I don't think the AT creep has hurt them that much. I think people just aren't playing them because, like you said, it's like when you can run these MPs with Anger Vic on top of Survival Vic being so strong purely because of the AT value and the loaded Anger on the levels, it's like you have, why limit yourself to like one win condition that's super hinging on like Unleashed versus being able to just run all these other cards.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I mean, 18 and Yamcha are still good.
Yeah, they're still good.
But nobody wants to run them.
Yeah, exactly.
You just feel vulnerable running those decks because your stages, if you don't have stages, then you can't get your palm charge out, or like you're saying, if you don't draw into Unleash, you just get stalled out and just get your face pushed in by a dual victory energetic deck.
Yeah, so like Android 18 is generally considered like a glass cannon deck as like an energy beats deck. Why would I play a glass cannon energy beats deck when I could play an energy beats deck with a different MP that is more survivable?
Right.
Yeah, and it set 13 has definitely set this precedent of like I think there's a very clear difference just from the games I've played myself, of like you just run a really high risk against some of these new MPs of just getting it's like that gap between getting your face punched in really bad and only kind
losing.
of bad has now just way gone up. Like there's some Vegito games where, I can throw two physicals against, Roshi. And it's like, hey, this is gonna come in for like 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a game against Kevin Dennis with his imposing Gohan, He literally he one turn killed my deck with over 60 endurance.
Yeah.
I'll dig your grave.
I mean,
Because I'll dig your grave, and then he was throwing like 14 stage physicals. I'm like,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I as the resident Wheelo guy here, I know the issue all too well. So
Yeah, you feel that hard, don't you?
I mean, it's just it's like these big AT decks. It's and the MPs. It's just like
But not only that, it's big AT, and then some of these MPs have mods on top of that
Yeah.
for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. I liked it. Was it Ty Tracy or whoever? There's multiple people that were just shitting on like the fact that they just threw all these mods and all these MPs, and they're just like, oh look, generic mod, generic anger, generic mod,
Yep.
generic, and it's just it's pretty funny. I take it very tongue in cheek.
Every MP has one line too much of text.
Yeah.
And I could see this being a unique set of like again, we're fusion MPs. Like this should feel like a powerful set.
Mhm.
It is a powerful arc in the story. And then maybe we go back down, we get some other MPs that have, more stage gain or more rejuve or shuffle effects, to kind of counterbalance this and give us options, because I feel like that's what um set 11 did for us, because we had set 10, we have set 11 pop up, we get our first Majin Vegeta and Boo, where we're beginning to see those AT brackets rise, and we now have, back then in that particular meta, we're talking OP season 2 at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, where those MPs kind of did a similar thing. Majin Vegeta had, anger on practically every level. Same with Boo, and it's like, and Boo still being the reigning champ of AT brackets, like he could hit like a truck.
Yeah.
But then set 12 came out, and it's like, okay, we get Broly, we get Bojack. Man, I really wish I could figure out how to make Bojack work. He is some cool card.
He is.
But we get those MPs and we get other cards, and it kind of went calmed back down. You still saw some of the regular decks. So I think we're due for a new set, personally. I know a lot of people take off
It just feels like this set just came out.
It does feel like that to me. I feel like a new set. I feel like the meta hasn't developed at all. Like I couldn't tell you the best 3 decks at this moment in any way. I can tell you what I think would do well, but obviously I was wrong about that. So with the tournament we just had,
Yeah, Dan, you played
and I do realize I'm in a more unique situation than most other play groups.
You really are. You really are getting to hold cards in your hand in 3 different types of decks I mean, that is just pretty cool. But I mean, just to talk about the masteries for a quick moment, I feel like the power that they generate is not so much. It's not as straightforward as all the new MPs. All the new MPs are very value oriented. You're getting anger on the card and you're generating more actions. Where most of the masteries are offering, utility or working outwards. Energetic probably being the exception to that, because you've got so much raw value on the card. But like manipulative, you couldn't argue, does more for a win condition than mischievous in a lot of ways. I mean, I guess you can. It just does it in a different way, and I really like that about the new masteries. They're all just so different than all the old masteries that we've had. So,
kind of going off of what you were just saying, Dan, I feel like the masteries in this set actually define archetypes of decks, unlike some other more just generically good masteries that we've had, like Restored and Retribution. So, like, these masteries are actually something that you build the mastery around. Or you build around that mastery.
Yeah. Manipulative is definitely the strongest example of that.
That's the one that I was thinking
without a doubt. I'm going to piggyback off Dan's comment. I really liked it. That the meta hasn't really developed. Like, I think people were so fixated on, and they still are, they're still very much fixated on Vegeta. And we can argue whether or not it's justified or not, but especially after the rest. The latest CRD only happened, like 2-3 weeks ago? So people are only really starting to branch out of those decks, I feel like, now. And even with Gohan Knowledge is, I mean, Gohan Knowledge, which was the one that the Gohan deck that got hit, that deck
And
is
it's
still arguably
still insane.
doesn't even need right throw. Didn't
Nope.
right throw was just like, oh cool, right throw's cool. But like
Yeah.
it's not gonna miss. That deck does not need it. It's not gonna miss right throw. So that deck is not hurt. Vegito is the biggest thing that's gonna have to change. Vegito had the least. I'd argue Vegito had the least counters than Gohan. It was faster than Gohan in my opinion, more consistently faster. At least an energetic version for sure. But you know, the cards that shut off Gohan, Energize Strike, instantly kills that entire deck for combat. Trick Shot kills a deck for entire combats. Black Manipulative in general is incredibly powerful versus all the top decks. Vegito, Gohan. Dende's. I'm gonna bring Dende in. Dende, like playing Dende on Octagon. My experience has been like I play against all these manipulative decks. Eric Ing is to blame for a lot of that, but a lot of people playing the black decks, manipulative. The pile control is so powerful. Like that alone is something that I think a lot of. I'm not sure how many people statistically are really realizing like how powerful manipulative is. You get protective mastery with pile kill, like incredible. Like it's just things like that.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're talking about all these strong decks. I think these strong decks that came out of set 12 are still very good. Same thing with set 11 decks. And matter of fact, set 11 is looking better and better because Majin Vegeta doesn't exist in quantity right now. So all these control decks are still really good.
And that's an interesting point too, is that with Majin Vegeta's absence, you can kind of do what you want on the Roshi side of things, you know, or the adaptive decks, which I actually wanted to see adaptive do better in that tournament that we just had. I thought that it was really cool that someone played an adaptive deck finally at an event.
Well, because that deck is busted.
Well, but it didn't win. It's so hard to win with.
What was the adaptive deck that entered?
Draku.
Yeah.
That deck's not busted. It's that deck. It's super hinging around non-styled cards, and a lot of its cards are no endurance and dead.
It seems
so
like
like,
it had a lot of endurance.
I mean, I'd have to look at the list, but like immediately off the top of my head, Kaioken Unleash, Assist Kamehameha, Confer/Sphere Time. There's like a quarter of your deck instantly with those cards that are staple. Not to mention Palm Charge has like 1 endurance, so there's like 18 plus cards out of your deck. Or Stare Down, 20 plus cards on your deck, like no endurance. That's just my take on it. Like it's a great deck when it goes. It's just it's very fragile, and then if you don't see like an auto leveler combat 1 or 2 against like a Gohan Vegito, like
it's over.
Yeah.
You have no anti-anger. If you have 2 meditation in your deck, I meant to say you have no consistent anti-anger. It's just so
on level
scary.
4, you lock that matchup out.
You do, and that is very true. But like Frank was pointing out, there's a lot of ways to shut off non-styled cards. And I promise you, well, I can't promise you that, but in most cases, I'm going to show up with a deck that can.
Yeah.
that is such a powerful effect. That is like a universally broken thing to be able to just rejuvenate a drill, and you can't play anything in your hand.
Or Tandem Blast. I mean, again, Red Yasha.
Tandem Blast too.
I think
that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Saiyan actually has the weakest of the non-styled hate cards.
It has 2 though. It has Chop and it has Key Burst, which Key Burst has not been good since like set 5 Cell.
Yeah, since it came out.
Well, it was good with set 5 Cell because you could just abuse Cell to get to 4 super easy, but
yeah. And then Chop is a hit effect. Like I think it's the only hit effect.
No,
Man,
Blue Slide. Good. Blue Slide is the hit effect.
Oh, that's right, Blue Slide. But that does life.
And Haunting is terrible.
Haunting
could shut off Dragon Ball, dude.
Haunting shuts off MP powers. I mean, it's Haunting is really good.
Do you run Haunting in Wheelo?
No.
Done deal.
There you go. I have a
done deal. No taste for that card. Yeah.
See, Wheelo is more about like powering up a few mills, whereas like Cell is the best MP for that, I think, because Cell is all Vengeance Roshi.
It with his Vengeance Roshi.
Yeah, Vengeance Roshi. People with frequent mill need it because you need to you need frequency over power.
But I will say, Dan, Chop, I love Chop. I ran it in my Oppressive Draku because I was using it on level 4. Let's go level 4. Let's go.
Shuffle 4, shuffle 4, shuffle 4.
Yep.
To get back, well, to reconvene off that though, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and to go back again. The original conversation we're having about what Jeff was saying is about how this level, these decks that they work, but okay, you run these control decks that now are suddenly more viable because Mod Vegeta's not around. Well, guess what? You still draw a dead hand here and there. Then these decks that are all in F bracket, just slapping you open. Combat 1 or 2, and now you're down 30, 40 life cards if you didn't die that combat. So it's
yeah. You run a very high risk playing that can I beat someone else in actions kind of game. And kind of going off of that, I know my tournament report for Tournament of Power never got posted, but that was one of the things I mentioned running that initial gauntlet of set 13 before any nerfs. Because you have to remember there's been 2 sets of nerfs now. The first one after TOP.
Yeah. Can we just to boost Jeff up here? Let's just remember that he beat pre-nerf Vegeta.
Twice.
So
He beat me. I mean, just turboed to 4. There was no stopping him from ending combat.
Yeah.
The thing that beats Vegeta is combat ending.
Well, and that's the thing. All this whole conversation ties in with Majin Vegeta going down. It brings these combat enders back into the
Oppressive
game.
Vegeta, man, where it been?
Which is how it all interlocks as a great card game. Is okay, combat enders come back in. Or at least characters like Majin Vegeta. I would love to see another character like Majin Vegeta. Give Hero Vegeta similar-esque powers in his new stack. I would like to kind of see something similar to that. But it brings the combat enders, which was really what I relied on and discovered by dumb luck, honestly. I was playing against Michael Martin because he was running an energetic Vegito because Vegito's his favorite character. He will hold that #1 fan.
I catch his retro comments and posts for sure.
It's all pro Vegito. And so I was just playing, Red Trunks just as I'll give this a try. I kind of like this deck. I'm just playing this one for fun anyways. I don't know how to beat Vegito. And then it beat it. And I was like, there's something to this.
Well, it's the same thing with Draku. Decks that could just end combat, or decks that you either have to out action. If you can't out action someone, then you end combat on them. One thing I'm gonna plug Mike Teagues here, but one thing that Mike Teagues is he taught me when playing with him and testing with him is running Deborah at the start of set 11. It was set 11. That was the set 11 was the Deborah. But it was he'll let all my hit effect cards hit, and then he just ends combat, or he just decides to chain up skip level with Trunks or whoever. Back then, and it was just he's just letting me run myself through my actions and thinning my own deck out, so that way he could just it's cool, yeah, you can hit me with this, and then bam, 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 level, and it's
if you can't hang with your opponent's actions, just make it so they can't interact with you.
Yeah.
Which is what the Red Trunks deck does. It's I'm gonna do my thing, and you can't do anything about it.
Well, arguably, Slug is kind of the same way too. Slug doesn't really. I played Slug recently against a Gohan or Vegito deck, and I just I didn't block a single attack all game, and then I just balled out.
Yeah. There's the nickname for Slug in our meta. We call it Slap Slug because you just slap him around until finally.
Until he wins.
I mean.
I don't have a deck left. Oh, okay, Dragon Balls. Woo!
I mean, when you're an Slug is pretty much a blank MP stack unless you're level 4 in my book. He's pretty much blank because you spend most of the game on 1 or 2, and 2 is just blank, and 1 is kind of there just to get you a ball if somebody turn 1 entered on you.
3 is sweet. Tom said sweet and not good.
Yeah, okay. Well, Tommy Maines loves Slug, and he was playing Enlightened Slug, and he loved that deck, and it's got some cool. And here's another master that I never really got to get flushed up because of Mischievous, but Enlightened's mastery, I think is very much now. Granted, it's kind of it's kind of not good ultimately. But like the ball mechanic, recycling mechanic is really good. The problem is like you already have how many cards that shuffle balls that do the same thing, except they give you a benefit. So you know,
Well, and all the nice attacks that have draw, discard, you're replacing that with your rejuve, so
yeah.
you you become a glass cannon of sorts.
No, you're just thinning your deck out faster.
Yeah.
That's just kind of. But yeah, yeah. I'm since so we've had some good discussion, I think, just regarding the changes between set 12 to 13. Set ultimately, would you guys agree like the change was really just the consistency in high power levels, and then the consistency that anger kind of gave that came the consistency of anger on the new MP levels, along with their consistent high AT brackets, caused this shift. Is that kind of a consensus? If we could agree.
Yeah.
A shift away from Unleashed,
Yeah.
which people have been complaining about for years now.
Yeah.
The MPs in set 13 chain a lot better than some of the older MPs. Like they just chain through their levels better.
Yeah.
Well, and it felt like in set 12, you didn't have to build your deck worrying about anger showing up. And so now it brings it back
Oh.
on the table.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, hey,
I mean-
I took second event because I ran an Ascension deck, so if that tells you anything.
There's not, well, yeah, there's just weren't a lot of anger
Exactly.
decks showing up,
So
though.
hard.
It was hard to win with anger in set 12. Like, I used to play a lot of Ascension Piccolo and went away from it because it was just going to lose to Mischievous Supreme Kai or a lot of the other strongest decks in that meta.
I
Well,
played
and
Ramp Majin Vegeta.
Resourceful.
Ramp Maj Vegeta, Rampaging Broly, whether you went physical variant or energy variant, like the anger was nice, but it wasn't as consistent because it wasn't on the MPs consistently.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I was hoping for Rampaging Broly would be like this amazing consistent deck with this, use new 1 and 2 to guarantee some 2 anger bursts, and then like 3 and 4 could be some variant in the deck. Like it really turned out to be just kind of a tier 1.5 deck.
That's if it
Because
hits. That's if it hits too. Like.
yeah, and
I-
if it hits and all these conditional things, but now you look at something like Vegito, it's like, okay, I'm gonna discard a card,
Wait.
replace that card, gain an anger. Oh, I discarded another thing, draw another card. Like those
Yeah.
2 cards are bound to have more anger than my Saiyan Face Strike ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree on that one.
And so I think Gotenks does Rampaging probably the best MP right now because it's like, okay, all my stuff style.
Yeah. Rampaging Gotenks. Yeah, I think that is the most consistent Rampaging deck I've played ever. I was rocking that deck pretty hard at the beginning of the set.
I know you were. I stole your list and then changed it.
I know. Yeah. By all means, I don't think my list is fine. I have not touched the deck in a couple months.
I mean, I sent you the changes I made, and I think
Yeah,
it's really solid.
We talked about that. Yeah.
I think Enhanced is a really good deck right now.
I think Enhanced is a good mastery. It's just in the beginning of the set, at least, it was too slow, and I almost argue it's. I think Saiyan has really good answers to. Well, Severing Punch alone, that card makes me want to play Saiyan, like alone.
Best Saiyan card in the game.
Without a doubt. I remember it was like considered kind of crap in like set 6 when it came out, and then it's
the people I had to enlighten about that card.
It's only gotten better. That card is aged. That card has just aged so well. Oh my god.
Yep, it has aged very well.
As you were saying, Enhance is like slow. Enhance is very meta dependent. Like if your meta is a slower meta, Enhance is the way to go because it just beats slow decks.
Oh yeah. Manipulative. I'm going to go back to Manipulative though. Manipulative is, I think, the one that can play a fast game and can play a slow game. I think
it's very versatile.
I'm going to jump into a new section of conversation here, but I think Manipulative is. I'm going to ask you guys all what you guys think is underplayed right now, but I think Manipulative is been underplayed, and I think ally decks have been underplayed. I haven't seen. Everyone's complaining about Super Shenron, and like Icarus and all this other stuff, and then they got nerfed or whatever. And String Assault, but I didn't see enough people. I mean, this is me an Octagon. I didn't see enough people playing Ally, and I think Ally is still very, very strong. Going Ally is still very
so. There were 2 manipulative decks in the Ghoul tournament. One of them won the thing. It was Manipulative Roshi.
Yep. I think that deck's beats it. I think that thing beats everything that's top meta right
Which
now.
I'm pretty sure it's just Kelly's old like DBV Devious Roshi with the Manipulative Master and some of the new cards.
It is.
Um,
I faced it in the regional brawl, and Roshi Slumber is just
that card is
cream
that's gonna be a
creme for that deck because it lets him set up the deck however he wants,
Yep.
and then one of those cards is a when entering, guess the top cards of your deck. Oh wait, you
Yeah.
already know what they are. Okay, D-level your opponent.
Oh yeah,
Black
Discovery.
Discovery.
Yeah. Or
So it just sets up for this meta so well because it doesn't care if you're Unleashed or MPPV. But again, if we were to see a rise in Majin Vegeta-esque MPs, or at least Majin Vegeta himself, then it's like, oh yeah, you enter, do your things. I don't really care. Like, I'm gonna do my own prideful challenge, and then we're just gonna banish everything.
Yeah.
I think ally decks were being played before the CRD, just not really on Octagon because nobody really wants to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the CRD and the stylish pose hit is the big one that'll stop ally decks, I think.
I probably played at least 15 and possibly 20 games against Kelly's Enlightened Brohan before the nerfs, and the things you could accomplish with that deck. I played a fast paced turn one, gonna completely annihilate you deck. Just ruthless. It was ruthless Majin Vegeta. He stops everything and pulls out 10 allies in the first combat with his confident burst. And just what he could do with the new ally card was just so over the top. There was no way to really to gain advantage. There's no way to stop him from stopping everything on the board. And against other slow decks, he's just going to blow up all your drills. He just had an answer for everything. It was too powerful. I'm so thankful for the nerfs.
Yeah.
Telling you.
What did you guys think about? We talked about Supreme Kai. What do you guys think about Supreme? What do you guys think about Supreme Kai now, even still? Because he's got Super Shenron, and I have not. Again, as an Octagon guy, I've not seen a lot of Supreme Kai for a bit.
I think Supreme Kai is too slow now. I don't think he's going to generate enough to keep up with the new stuff.
I've been playing a Mimicry Supreme Kai that's been a lot of fun. I had a game against Eric Ng where he took me down to less than 10 life cards, and I came back and won. He did that in the first combat with a commanding TN. The funniest game you'll ever see, because he just mills himself to less than 50 cards, but I have less than 10 and come back and stall the game out. That's how hilarious of a game state we're in, where we can shuffle that many cards back. So awesome.
I think Supreme Kai, if you're gonna dedicate yourself to allies, I think he's your best bet. And I could see a variant of possibly protective or even like conflict, where you're utilizing those black cards to kind of keep these new MPs in check. And maybe even a manipulative Supreme Kai. But yeah, there can be some combats, even if you do have enough allies to generate actions, you're gonna be slow.
Yeah, for sure.
You're gonna live, but you're gonna be slow.
Yeah, it's Gohan works so well because he's got the grab on one. It's a free grab, and then he's got things like Confident Burst and other styles. Or Blue's got enough ally search that I think Blue Ally can work still, but there's just not enough direct. There's not enough direct synergy outside of like Supreme Kai and Gohan. There hasn't been for a long time. Like, you need to train your stages, and that's just like such a dangerous game when the majority of the searchers are energy attacks.
And I tried to bring up that point like after the stylish pose nerf came out. Like, I was talking with a couple of people, and they're like, "Oh, this is Blue allies." That it's like Blue still has a lot of ally searchers. And they're like, no, they don't. And I'm like, well, you can run like blue battle readiness. They're like, it's too slow. Like, you're playing an ally deck. It's supposed to be slow.
You get 2 allies out this card. How is it fucking slow? You know,
Because
like
it's a setup. I'm like, you can't have an attack that immediately searches all your allies. That's not how the archetype plays.
no.
That they just do everything. You shut off mods, you shut off their best card, you destroy drills passively, you stop a physical, you stop an energy, you protect all your allies while also having another ally to get allies out of the banish zone. It's just not a it's so unfun when they have their board.
It's a very,
Yeah.
it's a very oppressive board state.
And when they can get their board with 2 cards, like, kill me. That's confident burst.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like arguably worse than. So you know, that's again like coming out of like the combative deck and ally deck meta from like set 11 into 12 and kind of some of 12. It was like the sports suits are just so gross. And that's what Modern Vegeta was so nice. And having maybe we need to see like another Modern Vegeta type MP, but maybe not necessarily Modern Vegeta. Like something that just shifts the meta so hard like that would be really nice to see. Something that really punishes. I think like a good like Chilled and Nappa have this really good idea where they're punishing people for leveling, and that would be super cool to see. And I think one thing is like Resourceful too has like got a really good. Resourceful is a really good meta for it right now. I think because it's so easy to set up blue takedowns in this meta. I feel like and blue knees. And even like I was playing against Miguel. I was either Miguel or somebody had a. Oh no, it's TJ Corkin. He had. We were playing in the whatever tournament is that Shane put on, the 3v3 tournament or whatever. But he had a Mimicry Boo that was really good at setting up takedown because of overpowering drill. There's a lot of cool and Mimicry Boo there's a deck that I think is really good that I think is just missing like 1 or 2 cards for it that makes it just an immediate tier 1. But there's so many decks I think haven't really been explored because they just aren't inherently like quick enough and powerful and fast as like Vegeta and Gohan were. That like maybe Gohan needs like 1 more nerf to slow him down.
I agree. I 100% agree.
And I wouldn't be against that. But even then, I don't know if that would really shift it enough. I don't know.
I think for Gohan in particular, if you were to try to nerf him, it could be done in so many various ways. But even if you do Vegito, then just you'd have to kind of do it in both, I would think. Because with Boo, at least, even if it is a mimicry or mischievous or any variation, like the fact that he loses his kind of discard synergy between his levels kind of helps balance that out compared to Vegito, who has this consistent drill tech all the way through, along with consistent discard, and then Gohan, like that level 3. I could see some changes with that of like you have to pick 3. It doesn't matter.
They need to remove up to.
Yeah, the up to would be more than enough to give you the chance to stall Gohan on 3. And even on 4, if you're worried about knowledge of some variant K, you get rid of the rejuve and you just have it gain stages. Draw a card, gain stages. He has this cool mod. Hey, but you're at least preventing this suction effect that that we're used to of like level 4 Boo of like, I have my 3 setups out. Okay, look, rejuve 15. Woohoo!
Well, and the Gohan level 4 and the Gohan stack in general perpetuates that same thing that was a problem with Vegito, was you couldn't fight it on both fronts. It was going to get you one way or the other. Because the new Gohan stack actually beats incredibly hard too, even in Namekian that's not known for Namekian knowledge that's not known for beating you down.
You shouldn't be. I don't think you should be like a balance wise. I don't think you should be a tier 1 MP at 2 different things at once. You know.
Yeah.
Like 13.
Agreed.
Here's a good thing about 13, right? At 13, really good at getting to level 3. Really hard at getting past level 3. Really good beats MP. Like he's like, it's like you got like the gauges of like efficiency, you know. And it's like level 13, Android 13, really like there isn't the continuous like momentum, and that's the problem. Is Gohan just has so much momentum with how he's set up between the the level 3 could be a good nerfing point. At the same time, I think AT consistency across the board could really use a hit. Like, people need to like get punished a bit more for
Yeah.
getting hit by like a rogue stage attack. I would like that a lot personally, but it would make stage gain more important. But
yeah, if we have the other MPs kind of catch up with this AT table, or at least mods on them, then we kind of, again, going back to like earlier sets, we see that balance kind of come back in.
Yeah.
And then it calms down. That MP there's more options out there. So, like, those nerfs would be good, but a better way to counteract that would just be, again, I'm done with 13. I don't think other people are, but those new MPs, that fresh look on, like, oh, okay, here's a counter attack to this set we've released. Could definitely help without having to nerf people. For those people wanting to build ally decks, again, right now, probably one of the best ally cards to run is Mr. Popo. Just hands up.
Oh yeah.
In that knowledge matchup, like if you're Supreme Kai, you're already running protective. Okay, get Popo out. Oh, you now have Super Shenron out. Okay, that Popo is going to just punish Knowledge Gohan. Just so bad.
No, that's
like, oh, you rejuve to gain an anger? Okay, I'm gonna draw a card. Oh, look, anti-anger card.
Yeah, that's the theme of the Mimicry SK that I was talking about. It's so funny. Just what you can shuffle back versus what you can punish for rejuvenating. But to go off of what you were saying earlier, Jeff, I feel like Boo is right up there with Gohan and Vegito, and even more so when you consider that once he hits 3, he's like so scary. He can perform any styled attack out of that discard pile. That could be a saving kick or a launcher or trick shot, whatever he needs. And his four is even scarier. So where all the other MPs seem to get to 3 and kind of stall out, he just gets faster as he gets higher, especially if he's looking at a dual victory.
But his early game's slower though.
Deck. His early game is slower, but he's got Candy Beam too, and he gets a Razor Anger 1 off on level 1. See, in my local meta, one of my players plays Energetic Boo, and it's been the bane of me for a little while now. But he just does a good job of MPPVing in 2 combats or beating me down in the same amount of time. So it's a strong deck and a crazy stack. I feel like he's right there on that same level because his level 3 generates another action when he's discarding a card, reveals it instead, and he's got so many different outlets for that. So
yeah, Blue is definitely up there. I don't think people have seen or figured out Boo as much as Gohan and Vegito.
I don't think Boo's as streamlined as the other ones. It takes a little more.
He's definitely agree with it. He's not as streamlined for sure. His level 2s can arguably, so his level 1 and 2 can arguably give you more anger. In an anger mirror, Boo 1 is a +1 anger off of your opponent's level 1.
He answers Vegito so strongly. I almost brought Mimicry Boo to Tournament of Power and changed my mind at the last second, but I found in testing that he did pretty well against Energetic Vegito. It was not a guaranteed win, but it was a 5-0, at least in my mind.
Yeah.
But
I think.
But when you reach level 2 is like the most powerful effect, in my opinion, on that stack. And then reaching level 4, because you go get your drill if that's what you really need, or you go get any setup to answer the situation. And that is just so oppressive with so many different interactions that you can do with those setups. So,
yep.
He's the boogeyman in my mind. Is the only point in all that was just to counter what you were saying on those two being the monsters, because he is in my meta. Oh man, he's really well designed now.
Waiting to be untapped.
Yeah. So do you guys think? So Boo for sure is one of those underplayed. You think?
I think so. Yeah.
Definitely.
Boo is underplayed. He has so many ways to go, and then once we even get Kid Boo, just the utility you could build into that MP for longevity is crazy.
Mhm.
You could build that in so many different ways, so many different powers, and I think it's a great stack that can only really. Granted, if Kid Buu comes out and it's garbage, then yeah, we've got
Do you
Yeah.
limitations.
do you think he'll be able to mix and match?
I
I
think
don't
so.
think so.
I think Kid Boo's going to be his own
I
stack,
could
but
I
I could be wrong.
I could see going either way actually.
The
um
last I ever heard Joey talk about it was that Boo was just Boo across the board.
Interesting.
you know what MP has really not seen a lot of play recently is Hero Vegeta. I was just thinking about that recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to go back to Jeff's original thing, and we're talking about oppressive Vegeta and Trunks and Kid Trunks if you're Eric Ing because you're a monster. Uh, those two decks amazing right now. Definitely doable.
Yeah.
Or even Ascension Kid Trunks. Like the generations of skips and passes, it's not as fast as regular Trunks, but it still can take you pretty far.
Yeah.
Um,
So combat
I,
enders in
I
general, probably, really.
yeah, there's that conversation actually going on today about Future Gohan.
Mm-hmm.
I think Future Gohan is a definite good strong pick to just shut people down, which is what when they initially previewed Boo and I saw that level 2, I thought, "Oh, okay, they're re-engaging this punishment of use of powers." And then it's just on level 2.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think Future Gohan, if you build him right, he suffers as much as any other MP at this point with the high AT. But that power
Yeah.
to just shut someone off, or at least punish them for using their power, I think it's something that a new MP could really use to counter this type of meta.
I don't
Because
want
I
to
agree
see
with
another
that.
I don't want to see another MP like Future Gohan level 1 where it just shuts off the
Yeah.
power. But punishment I would be okay with.
Yeah.
yeah, so I would love to see a punishment MP. Just you used your power, okay, I am gonna gain
In
more power.
would you say an orange punishment? Alright.
Because a lot of these new MPs and those powers we like like literally I'm saying power a ton right now.
Yeah, it's
Is just their power attack just gains them all the extra actions they need and just helps so much.
Yeah.
But if you could punish that, again, Future Gohan level 2 is a great example of like, okay, if you use yours, I'm going to use mine. I hope you have a block for mine, because mine's a lot worse than yours.
yeah. I think that's definitely one good. That would be a good indirect. Like outside of direct, I don't think a direct nerf to the cards is going to come anymore. Personally, I don't entirely feel it's necessary, but like some sort of meta shift, that would be a great meta shift. Stuff like TN level 1, I think is a kind of a bad example of like ways to try to shift the meta because by the time he came out, he was irrelevant and he was only, like he was needed to. He came around too late, and even in that kind of meta, he's still like not a good enough answer.
Mhm. Or even you look at like PyCon, like when PyCon came out and canceling events or punishing your opponent for playing
Oh,
events.
PyCon.
I love
It's such a
PyCon.
niche one,
Yeah, yeah.
and he still stands pretty well in regards to AT.
He's not bad.
He's not bad at
He
all.
just doesn't have good action generation, and his level
Mhm.
1 is like his level 1 and 2 just don't quite do enough on their own.
Yeah.
He's one of those MPs I think that'll age well though because
There's
events
nothing bad
will.
about this stat.
He's overbalanced.
Yeah.
He's over. His level
But
3 is too weak in my mind. He needed a double use 3, or just some sort of like the constants are great, but like his active power in 3 needed to be better. In my opinion.
yeah.
Or again, we go back to building an MP that could punish. Like PyCon would be a great stack to throw in, where it's like, okay, you now don't run into the problem of Future Gohan. Well, like I was thinking of the first West Kai where I took second place. I was Future Gohan. Miguel was Oppressive Vegeta, Hero Vegeta, and it's like on 2 of your levels I get nothing
Yep.
because you don't have a power. So I think if you built a PyCon stack with a higher AT, has this punishment, but then you can always dip into the older levels. Like, you then have an MP that's going to endure, regardless of what happens.
I would love to see. It would be really cool if they did give for the next movie set. It would be super cool if they gave Hycon either a new stack or just like I'd love to see like a new level 1 or a new level 2 even. Well, new level 3 would be great. I hate that level 3. The level 4 is fine. The level 4 is its own win con.
And
But
his name cards are actually really good.
his name cards are
The
very
level
good.
one the level 1 feels like his defining level though, because it can't. That's the only level that cancels the event.
Yeah, that's true. It would be neat. I think just some sort of new Pycon would be really good though, for sure. Even in a name card too would be awesome. Like those two things, super cool.
Which we could get him if they go into like the Janemba movie.
Oh, that's
He
what.
was in
Yeah.
that movie, right?
Yep. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, which they should.
Which I'm going to be very interested in talking about the Janemba movie. Very interested
Movie
to see how they
collection
do
3.
Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And we're
Yeah.
talking about like the power level scaling, the AT scaling. Like, where did Super Saiyan 3 Goku go?
I'd love to see it. Yeah, that'll be definitely an interesting level. I'd like to see if they'd give him a whole new stack or if they just give him a level or two.
Yeah, a new 3 and 4 maybe.
Well,
Like-
Joey did say go, like, again, this could always change.
Yeah,
When I say Joey said, it's just his ideal.
my Joey
Um,
said.
But he wanted to give, so Kid Buu being mixable with Buu, and then Goku getting a full new stack next set.
Oh man.
I'm fine with it. I think Goku could use another new stack. Honestly, I'm past my Draku hating days. Draku isn't remotely as bad because he doesn't synergize as well as it seems like these new MP, especially the last few sets of MPs, have really like after like set 9 of like set 10 of FanZ onward, like the stacks were cohesive enough that I felt like they really gave Draku a real competition in terms of just raw synergy with themselves.
And if you're thinking just raw card draw, Vegeto's got it beat in spades.
Didier and I are actually talking about this recently. Vegito took over Draku's spot for the bar. Like, for where that bar is on, like, card advantage and things like that.
I mean, Draku excels with certain stuff more, I think. And having the direct life card mod on everything is really nice, so it gives you a little more option. But at the same time, Vegito gives you an action attack, and with the right deck, the drill that you get on like level 2 through 4 is going to can, depending on what drill you grab, get you 2 to 3 more actions. So it's just kind of like, I still really like Draku. I don't know about Resolute in that sense, but again, Goku still has another auto leveler up on Vegito, so.
Never in my life did I ever think I would actually want to put Singing Drill into a deck.
Conflict Vegito. Ugh.
There's any
Right.
Vegito with singing drill, man.
It's like, oh, I leveled. Oh, I need some kind of discard outlet. Oh yeah, I'll use level 2. Grab Singing Drill. It's a dead drill, but hey,
Mm-hmm.
I get to draw cards.
Oh my god. Dan, what do you think is underplayed right now?
I mean, Boo, certainly. I hope we don't see future Gohan and Majin Vegeta come back into the meta, because I hate both of those MPs. But
I've been looking at making future Gohan.
But yeah, Ally Gohan, still really strong in my mind. I know that we had one in the Ghoul tournament that just happened, and I don't know how close his games were or anything like that, but I imagine it's still a really strong deck, and Namekian Gohan to me is definitely still tier 1. You know, even with the hits it's taken, the fact that you have so many different ways of getting those allies and even getting them out of the banish zone. I mean, I want to build that deck, and it's going to run 3 harvesting drill.
Yeah, harvesting drill.
And it's going to run the other energy block. The name's escaping at the moment. Crossguard.
Yep.
But yeah, tons of synergy there. but again, what I love about this game is that there just feels like there's so many different viable MP mastery combos. But certainly, oppressive Gohan's got to be mentioned. Rampaging Gohan and oppressive Broly is probably the strongest Saiyan deck right now. Adaptive Draku, that I'd like to see that deck win, but these are all decks that even if one person plays them in the tournament, hey, it's being played.
Yeah.
That's we got such a small player base to test with, so I feel like the meta is really open right now.
Yeah.
I think some oppressive decks can really come in and take things over. Because even if you have a Ferrari trunk situation, oppressive just manhandles that deck apart. Can just generate so many more skips that you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna try to. No, I can't end combat. Oh, I'm gonna try it. Nope, nope. Oh, you ended combat. Oh.
Yep. No, it's yeah, but
Honestly, though, probably one thing I love most about FanZ, since it got discontinued officially through Panini, was people now just play what they like. Most people don't play what's considered to be the best decks. Like you can go to a tournament, yeah, somebody's going to show up with it, but most of the time, people are playing decks that they find fun or MPs that they really like, and I really appreciate that because it's basically every tournament is different, like no matter where you play it, and I appreciate that.
yeah. I still think there's an incredible amount of variety too. So,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm honestly really excited to see how the next few Kai events unfold. Like, there's just so much to be determined here, and can't wait to see who wins. And I would also like to hear who Jeff thinks the best three decks are.
Yeah.
Just because he's the one that's sitting there playing
Sure.
with
Yeah.
actual cards and on a weekly basis. So what are the best three decks in your mind?
I think the best three that we can think of, again, like set 13 for us. We never took a break. We just play every Thursday. It's our thing. Maybe we'll miss a Thursday or two, but it's good to have a consistent group. And having Mike do these wonderful proxies definitely helps keep us
Yeah.
motivated at least. I think Vegito is definitely there. We have found if you take Vegito, like you can really make it energy, you can really make him physical. It doesn't matter as long as you have the right idea going into the match. Particularly energetic Vegito. We've seen some good games come with other masteries, but they just don't synchronize as well. Conflict Vegito actually, because you have a discard outlet, has performed decent. So really, I would still argue though that energetic Vegito just has so much synergy. It's our top tournament dog right now, even without MPPV. Like it's gross. Because you can still get to 4 in one combat, and then I just get all my stuff now.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you
So
heard.
I think that's definitely on top. The next, I would say, um, my heart of hearts would want to say Knowledge Gohan, but Knowledge Gohan actually has not been testing well with our play group.
Wow.
Mainly because of actually oppressive Draku. Because he has that mix of combat enders, he has the mix of the skips from oppressive, that he can just. There are some combats that oppressive just Draku can just do whatever he wants, and then he says, "Yeah, I'm out." Even better than Vegito ever could. Yeah, you're not leveling as much, but you just that draw mechanic before entering combat can really shape your hand into what you want it to be. Um, the next one after that, that's where we get kind of hairy, but we have seen pretty much any mischievous deck tend to contend for that third spot because Vegito relies on card draw. And I should also clarify this. Any anger mischievous deck.
Yeah.
Because that draw that Vegito wants, he gets punished with mill. So you're not only keeping up with him in anger, but you're also getting less of the deck out. With Gohan, yeah, he doesn't really have ways to protect his cards in hand. So you peel the perfect card, bang, he's gonna draw into a Dragon Ball. He's gonna draw into an ally. Like, it's not great.
That's why I wanted to put Mistress Bardock back together.
So I think Mischievous Boo, and really most, you could even probably do a Gohan variant of Mischievous, or even
Sure.
Mischievous 13. Mischievous 13 out of nowhere can just like burst to 3, and next thing you know, you're skipping an action at the beginning of combat and losing 4 stages.
Those level
And if
3
he
wins
hits you,
games.
you lose all those infinite powers, which is almost everything that Vegeta wants and has. Like, again, I think Mischievous, although manipulative can be great, I think if you're trying to match per guy, Mischievous anything can go really well in this state. But obviously, if you run Mischievous against something like a very passive Roshi, you've got some problems.
Insightful.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with any of that.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right.
Sorry, Frank.
it's all good.
I just really wanted to hear it.
Oh, no.
I had to ask.
I mostly, I didn't really know what else to. I suppose I could have thrown out there. I just didn't really know how to really finish this all up on. I think it was just a lot of good conversation.
I think that's a good thing to end it on.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you have another thing?
Another side note. I don't think this has actually been officially told. So, Frank, you got the scoop.
Woo!
With the new OP season, the proxy orders have been coming in much faster than we've had tournament seasons. And so with each event, you should be seeing twice the promo support this season.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Whoa.
As well as we have each Kai and Dragon Pricks is getting its own unique stack of promos.
No way.
Oh my god.
That's
I'm
awesome.
so bummed right now.
Tell your friends to go if you can't go, because then you will get some.
Oh fuck, that's awesome. That is some awesome news, man.
Man, now I'm super more excited for East Kai. I was already super excited
Oh shit.
for it.
Now I really gotta go clean house and start playing.
Yeah, because inside scoop, when the Utah group gets the orders in, every order that we've done of the sets has included promos that Mike makes and does using the leftover space on the sheets. And so we've had 3 sets release and get cards since the last OP season.
Wow.
So we are definitely filled with promos that we need to just kind of get out. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
this OP season, I don't know how exactly it's going to be distributed yet. And that's not really my part to say. I just know this from handling the cards physically. But if you catch any of the Utah crew or the people who donated that initial huge chunk of money, they have all the cool toys that you can check out. But yeah, it should be 4 participation promos, and then a variety of top 8 and top 4 being sent to all the events.
Right on.
So go out to your local Kais, your Dragon Prees.
Yep, go to them.
Even if they're not local, go to them.
Get out there and play.
Each event
man.
will have added on as one of those 4 participation ones is a unique card to that event.
Oh, crap.
So
Well, time to look up some flights.
Yeah, and if any of y'all want to come to Supreme Kai, I'd be happy to let y'all crash at my house.
Yeah, I'm
throwing that out there.
I'm definitely considering it for sure. Come visit you and Brandon.
Do it. Yeah, maybe that'll motivate Brandon to finally drive all the way over here.
Oh my god.
Where are you at?
Like, I'm in the Houston area, about 35-ish miles north, and Brandon is in West Texas. I don't even know where. and it's like 12 hours away because that's Texas. But I'm in Southeast Texas. So, but I'll be going to South Kai and to Supreme Kai, and I'm making we've got some top 4 playmats I'm excited about getting ordered. Look pretty awesome. Just got designed, so I'm getting all hyped up for this OP season.
Yeah.
And appreciate the inside scoop there, Jeff. As far as the best decks, I'll be sure to bring Energetic Vegito.
Oh my god.
Now, Mischievous Vegito. That's the real meta killer there.
Oh man.
3 singing drill, guys. The deck builds itself.
Straight up 3 singing drill. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I will not be bringing Energetic Vegeta.
Yeah, all I know is my days of playing anyone in A bracket are very much over. So, in a competitive sense, so that's where I'm at. I say that I've been loving Dendays, so you never know what I'll do, but
yeah,
Dendays definitely my favorite of this set.
Hashtag freeze Namekian knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I will end on this note, though. I'll probably edit out my speaking on the other parts, but this was a great conversation, guys. I really appreciate it. I'd like to thank Az, Dan, and Jeff for everything. This was a really, really good time. Now you have some inside scoop for anybody who actually watches this. I'll probably post this tomorrow, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, why not? It would just be pushing back some gameplay videos, so this is a lot more fun. So, but yeah, guys, thanks. I really appreciate it.